And your top trend for 2023 is World War III. You're saying we're going from COVID war to Ukraine war to World War. Explain that.
Yeah, well, the COVID war changed life. The damage that it's done to billions of people around the planet is incalculable. The businesses that have gone out of business, the lives and livelihoods have been destroyed, and a whole different culture. Wearing masks now is part of the Western way, particularly the American way. And the Ukraine war just keeps ramping it up as governments continue to take more and more control and dictate to the people. I mean, here we are in the United States. By the way, I had so you know where I'm coming from. I had a peace rally. And I had Judge Andrew Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Gary Null, Phil Giraldi. Phil Giraldi, top former CIA guy that goes into George W. Bush's office. This is a fact. Shows them the data. There are no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And you know what George Bush told Phil Giraldi, the top CIA guy? Get out of the office. And Phil Giraldi quit. So when I talk about these issues and these trends, I'm using information and data that's factual and to see where we're going. So now let's go back to the demise of America's 20-year war in Afghanistan, where Biden pulls out the troops and it's a terrible, terrible scene, and the public is really disgusted with it. Then all of a sudden, the Ukraine war, everybody forgot about that. Now we're going to help fight the Ukraine to defeat the Russians. This is not a proxy war. America is at war with Russia. They're sending in Ukrainian troops to give them the skills to use the weapons that we're giving them. By the way, since February 24th, 2022, America has sent over $1 billion to Ukraine in weapons and quote aid. So now we're bringing troops over here to America to train them on how to use these weapons. Number two, the Defense Secretary of the United States, Lloyd Austin, former general, now a Defense Secretary. Oh no, I forgot. His job before that was sitting on the board of directors of Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor in America. He announced that we are sending, quote, advisors into Ukraine to show them how to use the weapons that America's sending them in. So it's called mission creep, and that's what they're doing. So America is at war, and NATO is at war with Russia. They are already pumping this thing that if a nuclear bomb goes off, here's 3 steps to take. They're running ads in New York City. When I was a kid, I just turned 76. They used to have us hiding under desks, scared out of our lives, if the Russians are going to drop an atom bomb. Oh, that's going to really save your life. You're under a desk and an atom bomb goes off. Just like that's going to take you. Go into your house, stand in the middle of the room, and take a shower. What are you kidding? You're dust. This is the stupidity. But here's what the Americans know. Hey, did you hear about that football player that got a heart attack? Oh, my God. Oh, this only went on for what, a week and a half? Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I hope they're back. This is the stupidity. Oh, and the breaking news that Jill Biden has to get some surgery over her eye. Top Yahoo News story. So what I'm saying is that people don't have a clue of what's going on, the dangers behind it, and the implications.
I hear that, and this is why we have you to help them get a clue. And I hear you on this being perhaps a proxy war between the US and Russia. The Biden administration just last year gave nearly $50 billion in assistance to Ukraine, including humanitarian, financial, and of course, military support. And as you just highlighted, President Biden said there would be no US boots on the ground in Ukraine, but the Pentagon has in fact confirmed the deployment of active duty military personnel in Ukraine. They're claiming that no US forces are conducting combat operations in Ukraine, but you have personnel there that are assigned to conduct security cooperation and assistance as part of the Defense Attaché Office. So you have US personnel resuming on-site inspections to assess the weapon stock in Ukraine. I hear you on this being a proxy in many ways. I hear you on this being an escalation. But let's get to how you see this really becoming nuclear Armageddon. By the way, you're quite right. In New York, we have been seeing public service announcements of what to do in the event of a nuclear war, which of course is pretty distressing. Not nearly as distressing, though, as what you write in your journal. And in the 2023 Trends Journal, you write, World War III will be the US, NATO, and its allies versus China, Russia, and its allies. And the winner will be climate change. The climate will change into the 2,000-year new ice age when a nuclear war destroys life. Going to get a
Let's look at the imbeciles and morons running the show. I just told you I turned 76 years old. The year before I was born, it was the end of World War II, not ancient history. Maniacs destroyed Europe. Crazy people. Oh, and before that one, World War I. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, Yankee Doodle Do or Die. Let's go throughout history. What's your favorite war? I like the 100-Year War. No, the War of Roses was so beautiful. You got crazy people in charge. Look at the clown show. How can anybody with a brain bigger than a pea look up to a Mitch McConnell, a little Chucky Schumer, Lindsey Graham, all these tough guys that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag that loved war? They're mentally deranged. Hey, what's your favorite war? I told you about the Iraq War, our little Georgie Bush, the daddy's boy born on third base and thought he had a home run and lied us into the war. The facts were there. Never any weapons of mass destruction. Oh, and we're going to get that guy, Osama bin Laden, dead or alive up there in Afghanistan. That's a quote, and 88% of the American people swallowed it.
Okay, that was then. Some very colorful comments that you've made about past and current leaders. And again, the competency of the current administration does, many would say, leave much to be desired. But you know, this nuclear exchange, who the first round, what would be attacked? Do you have more of a synopsis of how this actually happens?
No, you don't. You can't. You know, here's the. Now this thing that Ukraine is winning the war. Now they're 6 years old. Russia took over 20% of the country. Depending on the reports, 70% of water infrastructure had been destroyed. So now Ukraine is going down. They're going to do anything they can to get more support. So they may launch a blow up one of the attack one of the nuclear plants. And again, a false flag event. False flag event? Again, those dirty Vietnamese, they attacked an American ship in the Gulf of Tonkin. Total lie by another guy, may he rot in hell, Robert McNamara, that started the Vietnam War. Never happened. Oh, and by the way, what's the United States doing in the Gulf of Tonkin? How about if the Vietnamese were in the Gulf of Mexico? Would you like that? So what I'm saying to you, it's war after war is lies after lies. You got maniacs in charge.
So you think that it's actually going to be Ukraine that escalates it? The concern has been, and again, based off what we're hearing via the mainstream media, but the concern has been that the war has not been going as President Putin would like it to go, and that he is going to be backed into a corner and into a move of desperation. But from what I'm hearing, you're thinking that Ukraine is going to up the ante.
Absolutely, and the United States. And again, you're not going to... Again, I'm totally opposed to the war. I want to make this 100%
That is very clear. That is very clear.
And I launched Occupy Peace movement back in 2014. So I'm totally opposed to war. But I totally understand why it happened. This is your Trends Journal from spring, when it used to be a quarterly, now it's a weekly. 2014, the United States coup of the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych, written by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. Washington is driving the world to the final war. It's all about the United States coup of Ukraine government. This has been going on forever. Hey, once upon a time, there was a guy by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces, 2-term president. Farewell address, January 17th, 1961. The military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, the sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. He goes on to say that after every war before, there was no military-industrial complex. Those that were making plows started making armaments for the military, and then it went back to making plows. It's a total takeover, and all you have to do again is look at who the guy that's playing our Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, formerly sitting on the board of directors of Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor in the United States.
And Raytheon shares have done very well lately, but I still find it hard to imagine that that would be an agenda to cause a nuclear war. Gerald, go on.
Things get out of control. And by the way, this is very important. We're talking about one of our other trends. We're talking about market meltdown.
Yeah.
The only thing that's keeping the markets up are interest rates. They go higher, market goes down. When all else fails, they take you to war. There was a thing called the Great Depression. Oh, what followed it? World War II. Oh, remember the dot-com bust? Oh, yeah, we forecasted in our October 1999 Trends Journal, said it would happen by the second quarter of 2000. Oh, you mean that the NASDAQ crashed just before 9/11? That we were going into a recession, the dot-com bust? But people forgot it after 9/11.
I don't know that I want to veer off into that conspiracy theory, but are you suggesting
Not
that
a conspiracy
9/11
theory.
was by design? Are you suggesting
No,
that 9/11...
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when war begins, people forget about the economic calamity.
Fair. Well, that is fair. That point is fair. But what would you put the percentage of a diplomatic off-ramp for the Russia-Ukraine crisis at?
It depends on the United States and NATO. Over and over again, Russia said that they're not going to give up this territory. Again, this thing has been going on for some 300 years, a border dispute. They're taking down the statue of Catherine the Great. Oh, wasn't she great? In 1750? Oh, you mean when she created Odessa? Oh, they hate her? This has been going on over and over and over. This is an issue between these two countries that they have to solve. This is not, again, I, Gerald Celente, am an American. Napolitano, born in the Bronx, born to be free, and I believe in the founding fathers, like George Washington. No foreign entanglements, particularly in Europe, because this stuff has been going on for centuries. John Quincy Adams, America does not go abroad to fight the demons. Oh, no, no, no. I'm Bill Clinton, Georgie Bush, Barack Obama, and Biden. Can't fight my way out of a paper bag, never been in a battle, but we're going to go to war.
Gerald, again, some very sobering anecdotes that you mentioned there, but the likelihood of a nuclear war in 2023, and yes, I can see an escalation happening, and yes, granted, people have been saying that this is probably the time where a nuclear war is at its highest probability than ever before. How seriously, though, are you personally taking that? Are you
again, you
prepared?
know,
Do you have a bunker, for example?
What bunker? You think I'd want to live after a nuclear explosion? I mean, life would be hell. Here, this is from Business Insider. A nuclear attack would most likely target one of these 6 cities. All right? So they're saying it. They're saying it. They're putting it into people's mind. Will it happen? God, I hope not. But what I'm saying is the war's going to continue to escalate unless we talk about peace. And you were talking before about the mainstream media saying that, you know, the Russians are losing the war. Oh, this is the same mainstream media that stole the Iraq war. Go to Fairness and Accuracy Reporting and see how many people they allowed on the mainstream media when the Iraq war was going on that said we shouldn't be in it and we should have peace. I think it was like 2%. So all they do, the New York Times, the paper of record, they're the ones that sold the lie that Saddam Hussein was getting these uranium tubes. There was obvious evidence that he was making nuclear weapons. So why would I listen to the prostitutes that put out this stuff? You know, so again, do I want a nuclear? Do I believe it? I'm saying it could escalate into it. And you're talking about they're running ads on TV. Business Insider is writing articles on it. So that's what I'm saying.
You know, everybody talks about rights, but we have personal responsibilities too. And unfortunately, our university systems have failed us miserably. And the reason for that is every professor wants tenure. That's my whole family. That was the most important thing about getting a job, was tenure, job security for life. And that's what they teach kids without knowing it. They teach kids that life is dangerous and you need to be protected. So they're immature. College professors are some of the most immature. They might be very smart mentally, but immature financially. They can't take care of themselves.